Well, thank you so much. I'm truly excited to have been invited here to talk about partnership, to talk about agility, to talk about flexibility as a contract manufacturer, and to talk about operational excellence. Because I truly believe that in a very VUCA world, as we've heard earlier today, with high uncertainty, where things which have been taken for granted yesterday are not true anymore today, that these attributes are absolutely key to be able to serve you and to supply you and your patients with medicine. Before I go into how we are doing that and how we are achieving that, let me just very briefly introduce our company. In brief, Boehringer Ingelheim, we are an independently family-owned pharmaceutical company with our headquarters in Ingelheim in Germany, founded 1885, so we're celebrating our 140th anniversary. And being family-owned really allows us to think long-term and strategic, maybe be a bit away from the daily stock market noise and focus on generations and on the future, already targeting 2035, where we celebrate our 150th anniversary. We have a focus on human, pharma, and animal health. Here in the US, actually very widely known for animal health, but our core business and the majority of our business is human pharma. We are serving 66 million patients, human patients, in 24. We have about 55,000 employees worldwide, about a quarter of these here in the United States, with our headquarters, US headquarters in Ridgefield, as you can see in a picture. We have an R&D expense of around $6.5 billion. So we're also an originator company that's roughly a quarter of our entire net sales. So a huge investment in R&D with over 26 R&D sites worldwide. Looking now to our biopharmaceutical manufacturing network, which really spans the globe. To the very left in Fremont, that's where my current home is since 4.5 years. We have a mammalian drug substance cell culture facility, stainless steel, with 3 times 15,000 liter bioreactors and 2 times 2,000 liter bioreactors. We have then in Europe, in Bibrach, our largest site with 2 facilities, 2 buildings with together 16 15,000 liter bioreactors and a very large aseptic filling plant. We have very close by in Vienna a mammalian drug substance facility, our newest plant, state of the art with 15 to 18,000 liter bioreactors, and we have there our microbial drug substance facility with 2 times 6,000 liter bioreactors. And last but not least, in Shanghai, a mammalian drug substance facility with 3 times 2K single-use bioreactors and also an aseptic filling. And you can also see that in all of the sites, we have N-1 perfusion established in different scales. I'll come to that later on. So how do we operate as a network? Because we're more than just a bunch of individual sites. We, right from the start, have designed our plants and our sites following a sort of a blueprint with very similar setups, very similar equipment, with identical electronic systems for electronic batch recording, for deviations, for change control, for all our business aspects. So all these sites are completely integrated using the very same software tools, allowing also to share data easily within product groups. Imagine if we have a product at more than one site, the experts of the 2 sites for this product can access each other's data and share all the information and the learnings they have together. And of course, we also share this data with you, with our clients, with real-time data access to allow full transparency here. But overall, as a network, we are truly flexible. Having all the same setup and the standards allows us very fast transfers. And the benefit you have of this is really that you have the full redundancy of our network with placing assets in maybe more than one site, complete risk mitigation for your supply chain. If your capacity is higher than expected or your demand is higher than expected, our network steps in and we can produce the same product very easily in different sites. Or be just a local for local approach. Again, coming back to the uncertainty we faced in just the past years, be that pandemics, be that politics, supply chain and interruptions of supply chain is a truth. It is happening, yeah? And with our network, we can truly ensure that this has minimal impact and we always provide you with product. So how does that look like? I'm just going through a couple of cases. A base case would be you're just placing one product in one of our facility, be that because you want to ensure local for local supply, be that because you need additional capacity because your own capacity is not needed, is not enough, or you just is not available, or just because you want a second supplier to ensure that you can always deliver to the market. So that would be a base case, but in a more advanced scenario where you put more than one asset, but whole product portfolio into Boehringer and into a site, we can offer a very different way of working with you. We can offer a capacity arrangement because we all understand products, sometimes they're more successful in the market, sometimes they hold up in clinical studies, sometimes there are more questions, sometimes there's other challenges. We all know it's never a granted how your product is then going to the market and how fast it is and what is your competitors doing. So understanding all that and the need for flexibility, that's where we can offer these capacity arrangements where you can then choose within that capacity arrangement of how much of one product do you need, maybe less of this one, but more of the other one. And even if things go wrong, you're working in a very similar way with other clients. And if you don't need all the capacity, you can sell it to other clients with similar arrangements and therefore creating a win-win situation for everybody. The benefit you obviously have is reduced risk, is lower cost, is lower idle cost. That's really in for you. But more so if you then really bring the whole network perspective in. And if your products are then more successful, or you just want to do a local for local approach given the all political uncertainty, or if you want to place your product in just several facilities for risk mitigation, our very similar setup allows easy transfers to our plants, for example in Vienna, for example in Fremont, so where you might end up with staying with one product just in one site and placing the other, maybe biggest, most important product to several sites in our network. Or just have within Biberach, where we have 2 plants, also the same product just being manufactured in 2 plants. So high flexibility, which we offer here, that is a true network. That is not just an idea, that's how we truly operate, how we've done for many, many years, very successfully, always with the goal to supply you with our product on time and in full. So just to sum it up, we have this global network, complete flexibility with very similar setup. Now you might think that sounds like a lot of transfers. Yes, it is, but that is something we are doing behind the scenes. We're very much used to this. We have more than 150 transfers already done. So this all needs minimal input from your end, but gives you the maximum flexibility. If your capacity, if your needs increase or decrease, we can offer that full flexibility. So let us briefly talk about tech transfer. Before I go into that, we all understand that, that every product is different, and you all might have very different needs. If you transfer a legacy product, you might just want a one-to-one transfer, maybe need to redo or look at some of your very early and old development and see if there are any gaps which we can fill with our process characterization, for example. Or if you have just a clinical product going through phase 3 and then through commercialization, where you want a transfer, a second supplier. Maybe you have not done your PCS, or maybe you've just acquired a molecule where the PCS is not done, and we can do that for you. So very, very targeted approach of transfers. So the way how we operate is we have multidisciplinary teams, from manufacturing, from quality, from engineering, from quality assurance, doing an assessment of your product. We have a 6-step process to make the assessment, to work with you, to provide our recommendation of the best path forward, going then through a transfer preparation phase, a transfer execution phase, a transfer evaluation phase, and then towards PPQ and commercial. As I said before, we have done more than 150 tech transfers within biopharmaceuticals only, within our global network, or from our partners into our facilities. In the past bit more than 40 years, we have made 49 successful commercializations. That is a huge experience over decades, which we are also offering that experience to advise you to take the best strategy to ensure a successful commercialization. And all with, again, the goal to be a reliable supplier for you, for our customers, and be that reliable partner. Of course, we have a very high data-driven approach, so we are leveraging process data from development, also from your early development. We have integrated systems which then really allow us easy scale-up or easy direct transfer. We have real-time analytics, real-time process monitoring to then really create what we call a digital thread to the product and from our product back to you to create full transparency. Very briefly, I said in the beginning, we have established N-1 perfusion in all our sites. So what is N-1 perfusion? Typically in a bioreactor, you have your cells, they're growing, they're consuming the media, they also create their metabolic byproducts. And overall, with the media being consumed and byproducts getting accumulated, that limits the growth of the cells. Now with an N-1 perfusion, you basically have a continuous exchange of your process media with a filtration system where you remove your old media, you retain your cells in a bioreactor, you backfeed fresh media into the bioreactor, therefore creating constant ideal growth conditions for your cells and for then high cell density at the end of the N-1 stage. And this high cell density is then helping your end-stage bioreactor to already start with a much higher cell number, and therefore with an earlier start of productivity, where then either your cells produce more and you reach a higher titer, or you can shorten your end-stage duration and therefore make more batches in the same time. Regardless how you're doing, we have seen up to 30% or more of just increase in processing and titer with this N-1 perfusion. We've established that more than 20 years ago and have experience with more than 10 products across all our network. We have different filtration technologies. There's ATF and TFF on the market. We support both. And again, it's available in all our mammalian sites worldwide. Again, it gives higher yields, gives higher efficiency, gives higher utilization of your plant. It's scalable, it's flexible, and all to increase the output of the plant, all to increase the amount of medicine we can produce and we can deliver to you and your patients need. Changing now completely gear, but with patients' need and our supply in mind. And I have here a quote of our global head of supply chain, talks about precision in biomanufacturing. It's not only a goal, it's an absolute need to deliver the product at the right time, in the right amount, and in the right quality. That is really our ultimate goal, that is our ultimate commitment. We all know we're in an industry where our patients, they cannot wait. They cannot wait for the medicine. Supply has to be uninterrupted, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. That is our commitment. So how do we do that? How do we measure that? We have a very simple OTIF, on time in full indicator. In a nutshell, it is just looking and understanding of what you have ordered, what we have planned to produce, in which time frame, and what volume, which amount of product. You see that frame, the OTIF frame in that graph, and if we are meeting with our deliveries, this box, then we are on time in full. Since this is such an important number for us, that's our core business, making and delivering medicine. We are monitoring this very, very intensively. We have weekly steering committee reviews. This is our core KPI, which also shows all the underlying performance and how all the plants are working. So how are we doing there? How fit is our supply network? Our OTIF rates of 2025, you see them here, overall 98% on time in full. Out of 50 batches, out of 50 shipments, 49 are exactly in that time frame and in the right volume, in the right quantity. And that is really an excellent number. The goal, we strive for 100%, that is very clear. 98% is really our commitment and how much we deliver and is a result of our commitment to you. So how do we do that? Let us talk about operational excellence, and let us talk about deviations. And Sanat, in his very inspiring presentation in the morning, has talked about deviations. I find deviations fascinating. On the other hand, I think we hate them all. Fascinating because you really learn a lot. Right from the start of my career, I was digging my heels into deviations. You learn so much if you investigate. You learn if you have your processes under control, if your human-machine interaction works well, if your training works well, if your equipment is running well. It's fascinating, but it also means if you have a lot of deviations, if your CMO has a lot of deviation, it means problems. It means delays. Delays in batch release, delays in shipment. It is work for you, for your quality teams to copy the deviations in your systems, to discuss with our experts. Batches have a bit of a dark mark. There is compliance issues. It can raise questions in regulatory inspections. It is just a problem. I think we can all agree that we don't want deviations. I'm sure if you work with a CMO with the purpose of risk reduction, you don't have that in mind that you need to send armies of quality people to your CMO to see what's going on and try to fix things. So reducing the number of deviations is absolutely key for operational excellence. And there's not just a one thing you can do. It's an array of things you need to look at. First and foremost, our staff and our training. I'm not just talking here about the regular SOP training, but is your on-the-job training of your staff, of your manufacturing staff, of your mechanics, of your engineering, of your analytical staff, really top-notch? Do they really deeply understand and master the equipment they're using? Do they really understand the process? Are they able to read very early signs of when something just starts to look different? Are they really mastering all of that? Are they understanding the machine and the equipment and the process interaction? Staff retention. All the training means almost nothing if you have a high turnover, because then you lose all that training effort, it goes away. So keeping staff in your plant to ensure that all the training you have provided and all the expertise you have created is absolutely key. Is your staff, do they feel valued? Do they feel the right environment where they can raise concerns, where they can raise questions? All that is important factors for staff retention. Lean manufacturing. Are you overly relying on just procedural control, or do you have solid technical and engineering controls in the plant, which just avoid and prohibit mistakes in first place? Are your systems designed to ensure that the operators are doing the right thing the right first time? Are your systems designed to avoid mix-up? It's all of these. There's a big quality culture aspect. There is the speak up part of the quality culture, where again, people can raise concerns and their concerns are being taken care of to ensure that they're fixed before something bad happens. Do people really have the mindset of following a procedure not only when the supervisor is looking, but truly are committed and understanding that this is right first time? This is what they absolutely have to do to ensure a failure-free and error-free environment, because we all know humans are fallible. So having this strong adherence to quality culture is absolutely key. Real-time, data-driven decision-making. Do you have your process experts in the plant constantly watching with tools, with data monitoring tools, with AI tools, watching your process, observing it, immediately reacting when something just starts to look different, and be able to react and countersteer before things go wrong? How are your teams working together? How are your manufacturing teams working together with your engineers? Do your manufacturing teams have sufficient equipment knowledge? Do your engineering teams have sufficient manufacturing knowledge? Is there an overlap of space where they can shine and excel and ensure that nothing is getting not caught, that everything is being taken care of? How is your collaboration in manufacturing between quality? Is there the right amount of risk-based thinking in your teams? Are quality and manufacturing discussing the right things? Is quality really on the floor, understanding your processes, understanding the daily work, or is it just on paper? Employee engagement, employee empowerment. We've talked about this speak-up culture. And last but not least, learning and error prevention. If a deviation happens, what do you learn out of it? Do you just apply a patch? Or do you really look at where else in my plant could that happen? And maybe where else in different equipment, that same failure mode could happen. Or if we share a product with another site, where else could at another site that same problem happen too, and informing each other and learning from each other across sites to ensure that for the same product, a mistake or a problem which occurs in one site doesn't happen in another. It's all of these and many more, but that is really what operational excellence is in a nutshell. And the results you can see here. You just see here a graph of a campaign this year, commercial campaign, with 17 batches and just 2 deviations overall. That is a really good number, even without AI. Imagine where that could go with AI. Overall, we have in our Fremont site 100% success rate in 25. In our 12K line, more than 50% of our batches, and that includes also 2K batches, that includes clinical batches, more than 50% are golden batches. That's batches, what we call when they are being manufactured without any deviation. Now, what that means is, of course, very clear. There's no question about is a batch releasable. That batch will be released on time because there's no discussion needed. It means no work for your quality teams. It's a perfect batch. And I think that's what you really sign up for when working with a CMO. One almost last topic, which is really close to my heart. And I said in the beginning, we are thinking in generations, and we are also doing this in terms of environment. And we have a program, sustainability for generations. Really a project I'm very proud of is we could save just this year, with last year's work, we could save this year's 1.4 million liters of Wi-Fi just by optimizing our tank cleaning, reducing our water amount per tank clean. Of course, everything validated, tanks are perfectly getting clean. 1.4 million liters of water saved. In California, where water is so precious, that really means a lot to me. But it's not only the water, it's the energy saving. Wi-Fi needs to be distilled, so lots of energy going into it, and we're saving that energy. And the wastewater, because if you avoid water consumption, well, you avoid the same amount in wastewater. So big environmental impact, and that is also our commitment and our operational excellence through innovation to be very mindful of our future and the future of our planet and future generations. Talking about partnership, and that was my very first keyword and in the title. Our partnership is based on our core values and of our beliefs. And you just see here popping up some of the feedback we receive from our existing clients. You can read great learning, you can read excellence and dedication, collaboration, very knowledgeable, great insights into manufacturing process. What really stands out to me is collective ownership over the outcomes and shared accountability over the outcomes. That is what true partnership really means, along not only the transfer and not only during product supply, but during the entire life cycle of your product, which can span several decades. That partnership is there where we share our experience of having commercialized almost 50 products to the market, where we can share all our expertise and advise and guide you. Adaptability, communication, collaboration, and ultimately that creates the trust. And that is our true belief, and that is our true partnership approach. Just to wrap it up, we are the partner with more than 40 years of experience in commercializing product. We can deliver worldwide patient supply. We have our very flexible, adaptive network where we can easily react to your changing demands or to change in environment, to tariffs, to pandemics and others with this high flexibility. diverse molecule formats, of course, antibodies, but many others, mammalian and microbial technologies at different scale, and again, accompany you along the life cycle of your product. Thank you so much for listening. I hope there was something resonating with you, but these topics of flexibility, of agility, of operational excellence, that is really our core, which enables us to deliver whatever it takes. Thank you very much.